Hey guys, so I finally made it to the hotel I'm staying at before I fly out tomorrow at 5. I haven't told anyone, but I'm in Europe, going to Europe, so I'm really excited. I'm doing a topDeck tour in 49 days and it's going to be insanely awesome. So I'm going to take you guys all around Europe with me.
We're overprotecting our boys. But is he right about this?
Hey guys, good morning. Today is the day I fly out to Europe. Really excited and really nervous at the same time. I'm just sitting down to my eggs Benedict and they made it gluten-free, so I'm really happy about that. These guys are just great with the gluten-free. I've not had a problem with any of my meals, and I highly recommend Jet Park in Auckland and Mangere as a one-stop shop to go to the airport. So yeah, I'm just getting ready to go to the airport. I fly out at 5, so I've got ages, but yay. Okay guys, so I just finished getting ready. Yay! So not long now until I head to the airport and take you along with me. And this is what I'm wearing. I'm just wearing really casual because obviously like I'm going to be stuck in an airplane for ages, so I'm just wearing these harem pants from Wild Pair, Michael Jackson top because I'm kind of obsessed with Michael Jackson, and just like a Glassons turtleneck tee to keep me nice and warm because planes are always cold. And I just got really soft natural makeup on today, so yeah. Hey guys, so just arrived in Dubai. It's really pretty, I really like it. Just waiting to connect to my flight in London, which is 7:45, so it's about 2 hours wait. And I'm just gonna enjoy myself, have a coffee and relax.
silly, say around the Arc de Triomphe, and you guys are going to get to check out the Eiffel Tower tonight as well. And I'm going to get to introduce you to some of the other buildings that you maybe haven't heard about in Paris, but are equally as impressive as all of those big name ones as well. So my favorite building in all of Paris is one that nobody has ever seemed to have heard of before, but it's really awesome and impressive, and we can drive around that and check it out tonight. We're starting to enter now in Paris is kind of the Montmartre area. Also had another name though. If we go all the way back to kind of the end of the 1700s, beginning of the 1800s, this area got another name, which was Pig Alley. And if you look at the right hand side of the coach, up that street there, that is Sacré-Cœur on the top of the hill up there. We'll get a much better view of it later on, because it was kind of the den of all things debaucherous in Paris. So you could come down here and you could drink, you could come down here and find yourself a lady of the night. And it was where the first cabaret shows opened up as well. Selling stuff off rubbish bins, they're always just hanging out, smoking cigarettes. Yeah. They never cause any trouble, but they're just always hanging out here. Yeah. It's like their little version of nightly markets and stuff.
I feel like these winners must be.
And if a topDeck coach ever gets broken into, it's the perfect place to come and buy all of your stuff back. Yeah.
I can't believe the night lay waste to all we'd given, but honestly, you've gotta know that this ain't living, but we could run.
Not the first cabaret show in Paris, but is the most famous cabaret show in Paris. That windmill actually got added to the building in 1900, and it is the only original part of the building that remains to this day. So you're going to get some great photos of it at the right hand side of the coach just now. Now it is the most famous cabaret show, I guess, because of the movie, The Moulin Rouge. Nicole Kidman, Ewan McGregor, that kind of thing, and because of its location right in the center of this very kind of, I guess, nightclubby, bar-y sort of area in Paris.
I want to go so bad. Just now, more so now I've seen it, I'm like, I want to go. I don't care how much it costs, someone come with me.
I guess the middle to upper class in Paris could potentially afford to have an apartment in one of these buildings along here. And what's quite interesting is we were driving along that street through the centre of Montmartre, and you had sex shops, and you had lots of like peep shows and cabaret shows, lots of bars, lots of nightclubs, and you kind of take one turn and you're back into kind of the, I guess, the normal residential area of Paris. So that's kind of like their red light district. And now we are heading down into the centre of Paris to where all of the very famous monuments and landmarks are.
And let it burn, let it.
Lafayette buildings are marked on the map as these like bright red buildings with Galeries Lafayette written on top of them, and they're like a shopping mall or a shopping centre on steroids. You can go in there and find everything from like Louis Vuitton to H&M and Zara and Sephora and all that kind of stuff. So if you did want to do some shopping tomorrow, that's one place that you can go. You can find everything that you need all in one spot, so that's quite handy. The next building is the one that's on our left hand side at the moment, and this is one of my favourite buildings in all of Paris. It's called Opera Garnier, and as we come around the front side of Opera Garnier, you'll be able to check out this amazing building. It was built by Napoleon III. He commissioned this building to be built, because he was a massive lover of opera. And one day when he was on his way to the opera, someone tried to assassinate him by blowing up his carriage. So he had a competition and he said, I need a new opera house to be built with that made it safe for him to attend the opera. And this was the design that won. It was a design by a guy called Charles Garnier, and that's why it's called Opera Garnier, and it's known for its kind of opulence. It's absolutely an incredible building. On the inside, it's got a central foyer which is 54 meters long and a 35 meter kind of marble staircase inside the central foyer as well. Using these ramps, Napoleon III and all of his carriages and his entourage could ride straight up into this little building. They could unload there, and then he could safely enter the opera house and watch the opera. Another cool thing about this opera house as well is it's actually the inspiration for the Phantom of the Opera. So when they started to build the foundations for that building, they had to actually drain a little bit of a natural lake that was in this area. And if you know anything about Phantom of the Opera, the Phantom used to live around a lake which was underneath an opera house. Now there's also another story that goes along with this whole kind of link between the Phantom of the Opera and Opera Garnier. There's a massive big 7-ton chandelier that hangs in the foyer of Opera Garnier, and it's said that one day when some patrons were coming to the opera, the chandelier actually broke away from the ceiling and fell on one of the patrons who was entering. And also, you might notice that a lot of the buildings look identical. And that's because Baron von Haussmann and also Napoleon III had this massive love of everything being symmetrical. They thought that symmetry equaled perfection and all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of the buildings in Paris now mirror each other in their kind of look, particularly with the front facade. So that's all Baron von Haussmann. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be able to do a driving tour around the city of Paris. Welcome to the central courtyard of the Louvre. The Louvre is a massive big U-shaped building that originally started out as a fortress on the banks of the River Seine. Then it got turned into a palace by King Louis XIV, by the Bourbon monarch, and when King Louis XIV came to power, he decided that the Louvre wasn't quite big enough for him and moved his whole palace out to the Palace of Versailles. If you look at the left-hand side of the coach, you can see that very famous glass pyramid. That's the new entrance to the Louvre. It was a huge uproar by the people in Paris. They couldn't believe that this glass pyramid had been built in the center of their most famous museum. They were outraged because they said it didn't fit in with the architecture of the Louvre, and they were also running around with this story about how that glass pyramid was built out of 666 panes of glass, and 666 is the devil's number and all of this kind of stuff, right? But essentially they just didn't really like it. It doesn't fit in with the architecture of the Louvre at all. But what happened was, then Dan Brown goes and writes a book called the Da Vinci Code. They film a film, and it's a lot of the scenes from the film are from Paris and are from that central courtyard, and that made that glass pyramid very famous. And so now it is so famous that they can't actually get rid of it, but it does this awesome thing. It lets so much natural light into the central foyer of the Louvre.
Let it burn, let it burn. You've gotta know that nothing lasts forever.
People like Marie Antoinette and also Robespierre were in there before they got guillotined. And it's situated on a natural island in the River Seine, which is called Ile de la City. And it's an island that we're going to head over onto now. On Ile de la City, you will also find right next door to the conciergerie is an amazing little chapel which is called Saint Chapelle. You can see one Gothic spire sticking up next to that, or just behind that dome on the right hand side of the coach. That belongs to Saint Chapelle. It's a beautiful little chapel which has the most amazing stained glass in it that I've seen anywhere in the world. Much more impressive stained glass than the Notre Dame, and everything on the inside of the chapel is completely gilded in gold, so like gold plated. It's absolutely stunning. Yeah, it is an absolutely incredible building. They started construction on Notre Dame all the way back in 1173. Now, prior to the Notre Dame Cathedral being built, if you wanted to build a massive big cathedral, you had to build it in the Romanesque style. Now, Romanesque style was these churches which have these massive big thick walls, and the reason for that was the walls of the church had to support the weight of the roof. The first one that I want to point out to you guys is that obelisk that you can see in the center of the square. Now, how do you know it's an obelisk? Because it's got hieroglyphs all over it. So they're the Egyptian kind of symbols that you can see going up the obelisk. At the bottom of it, you can see a whole bunch of stuff that is in gold. And that stuff in gold depicts how the obelisk was sent all the way from Egypt to Paris. It's actually called the Obelisk of Luxor. And in Luxor there's a massive big temple, the Temple of Luxor, and it used to have two of these really impressive obelisks out the front of it. Kind of the center of the Reign of Terror, hundreds and hundreds, actually thousands of people were being guillotined here, so much so that this whole area was just awash with blood of all of the guillotine victims. So yeah, a very important place. It had a range of different names. It used to be called Place de Louis, after the Louis Kings, but obviously during the Revolution they didn't like that very much, so they changed the name to Place de la Concorde. To you guys that Louis Vuitton has their flagship store on this street, that is it right there. So that's like 4 levels of all things Louis, all things Louis and all things Vuitton.
Looks like a penis. Oh, it's actually like
So tell me now, what's left to lose if we run?